Well, it's not Paulo W.S. Anderson. God damn it, I fucked it up. All
Hey, just like the director.
right. Wait, who directed this one?
I forgot. It was like Johann something or other. I just remember that he was the guy that directed the 47 Meters Down movies.
Yeah, it shows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Resident Evil's back, I guess. This directed VHS movie that somehow got a theatrical release. VHS, I'm dating myself. Direct Blu-ray.
Millennials.
VOD, whatever you want, whatever the common terminology you kids use these days. But anywho, so after the last decade or so of the Paul W.S. Anderson movies, I guess they finally stopped making those because they couldn't stretch out the story anymore. So now it's just just like, all right, I guess we'll just actually make it based on the games, and they did that, and it still sucks. Now, to be fair, to be 100% fair, the Resident Evil games are not pinnacles of storytelling.
Yeah, but there are still ways it could have made it fun.
I'm not disagreeing with that notion. I'm just saying,
yeah,
it's
like they were B movie stories. Like
they're and by design they were meant to be like 80 cheesy B movie games basically.
Yeah.
That's why they were always constructed, and they've pretty much kept that level through the decades. It's honestly mostly stayed like Resident Evil is almost like a franchise that stays relevant despite itself. It mostly goes like the gameplay on the ones that are good are actually pretty good. Emphasis on the ones that are good. So, 1, 2, maybe 3. We ignore the ones that came between 3 and 4.
Yeah. I think it's like, well, let's see. There was Guided, crap. Survivor, crap.
Code Veronica, is that what you're going?
Okay, Code Veronica was fine. It didn't necessarily age particularly well, but that was still a good one.
For its time.
Oh, God. Yeah, so... Yeah, like 3 out of 4 were not that great.
It's kind of like, you went from 4 to 5. 4 was like, oh, 4 is awesome. Then 5 was like, okay, where are we going with this? And then 6 is like, oh, bad. And we went bad.
Okay, actually, the Resident Evil Outbreak games were pretty fun.
I never played those, so I can't speak for them.
Those were basically the actual, what if you played classic Resident Evil as a multiplayer game?
Okay.
And it was really fun because it had some varied levels, interesting characters, where each person had their own abilities and stats and kind of personalities. And also there are so many ways you could actually progress through the levels. So there's a bunch of hidden stuff, you can only access either certain characters or on certain difficulties. It's pretty fun, and I'm clamoring for a remaster.
Keep clamoring. And then, of course, we've got 7 and 8, which basically said, okay, we're it's still technically Resident Evil, but it's also, not.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. They're both pretty good. I remember playing the 7 in VR, and it still scared the shit out of me. You were there for that.
Yeah, that is an experience.
Yeah. And I have not touched the game since. That was my one, nope, we're done.
Yeah, I was playing this regularly, it's fun, but I feel like he's on VR.
Yeah, VR just was nope. Yeah. We're good. I don't need to play this ever again. So anyway, Welcome to Raccoon City is their attempt to consolidate basically the first 2 games.
Yeah.
Again, for better or worse, and it's a hodgepodge. This is probably a fairly short review because I don't know how much I really have to say about it other than the fact that it's pretty fucking bad. It feels bargain basement.
Yeah,
written, and I'll give the actors credit. They're trying to do what they can with the material. I don't really blame them. It is funny how common sense is basically a superpower in the movie.
Yeah,
Particularly where like the police chief in particular was the one that was just like, "What are you fucking stupid?" There's clearly nothing you can do about them.
Yeah, I will say this: Donald Logue was the best part of that movie.
He was having a blast, and I do have a lot of respect for that.
Like the moment I heard Harvey Bullock from Gotham was going to be playing Chief Irons, I was like, I'm going to be in for a freaking treat.
And he chooses as much scenery as he possibly can.
Yeah, he freaking delivered. I will give him that. Because like he actually got some good laughs out of me. Had some like of the better moments. The kind of like that long take when he's like trying to get out of the city to freaking Journey of all things.
I mean, I do have a lot of respect for the guy just for like being the first person to notice like even something remotely close to a zombie apocalypse, and you're just like, nope. Really just...
Well, which leads to another issue I had. There were clearly some lingering plot threads. You know, partially I know this because of, you know, being the huge Resident Evil fan that I am. I pretty much played every one except for Gaiden. I even played a little bit of that arcade Gun Survivor one.
Oh man.
Which was basically first person rail shoot, not rail shooter, but like it was the arcade Code Veronica.
Okay.
Which reminds me, forgot to count Zero Chronicles and Umbrella Chronicles and Darkside Chronicles as some of the decent ones.
Okay.
Which, but I digress. So in the games, Irons is a rat bastard of monstrous proportions. And here he's just kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
And you can tell like they're hinting at something because like they leave at this point where it's like he clearly knows something's up and that's why he's leaving. Like more than he's letting up on. But like, I mean, he is really, really messed up. Like I believe he basically killed the mayor's daughter who he had like an attraction to and basically did some taxidermy on her.
Charming.
Yeah, exactly. Which but here is just like I said, Donald Logue was the best part of this movie by far.
I mean, this movie's also trying to consolidate like 2 games worth of content into 1 hour and a half movie.
Yeah, exactly. Which was another bad mistake because like it's not that it wasn't handled necessarily poorly in terms of balancing stuff in the first 2/3, but once it got to the third act where just like it all came together, it just suddenly everything just happened like so quickly. It's like, what just happened?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not like I was expecting this movie to be good just based on the trailer. The fact that again, it's a video game based movie, like that alone's always a red flag. I mean, if Arcane didn't just come out, I would say like there's still very few actually like good video game adaptations out there.
Yeah,
like I think like Castlevania is the only one I could think of that's like.
Well, also let's not forget Werewolves Within.
Okay, yeah, all right, 3. All right.
Yeah,
and I like Rampage. I know you're not a fan, but I would still put that on there.
Which one?
Rampage.
Right. Yeah, I mean that one was at least like I'm not gonna lie. While I don't enjoy it, like I'll acknowledge that one at least sought out to do what I was trying to do, and like it had no qualms about what it was, so I can at least respect it for that. Like it was just about having a good time. It just didn't work for me.
Now, like, this movie obviously makes a lot of changes to the characters from the source material, which honestly I'm fine with. Because like let's be honest, like they're not, at least the initial runs, they're not the most interesting characters in the world. They're very 80s cheese. They just kind of immediately know what they're doing. Which is again, which works fine in a video game. Doesn't necessarily work fine in a film. That being said, the changes they went with aren't necessarily good either. So it's like a weird zone.
I will say I was kind of okay with Jill in the beginning, at least, just because like it did make her kind of interesting.
I thought Jill was fine of the bunch.
Yeah. Like that was the other thing. Like I actually liked how the movie started. Like okay, aside from the weird orphanage thing, which was just kind of
yeah.
Just it
look, man, when that Jill sandwich line came in, I knew this is peak cinema.
I know it was in there, and I can't remember what the context was.
It was when they're all in the restaurant at the very beginning of the movie before all the zombies, like the water poison.
Oh right, didn't she like steal the sandwich from someone and like
she wins a bet to like knock something off Leon,
which was funny. I will say that like and like I said, this is why I like the opening. Like when we're being introduced to like these characters as adults. Like Leon, like brief encounter with Alpha Team was funny, especially when we see like the way Jill and Wesker banter with each other.
Yeah.
And just the part where like Wesker's dicking around with Leon trying to put the bottle on his head, and then Jill's just like, hey, if I can shoot that off his head without looking. Or it's like, no, Wesker's like, I bet you can't shoot him off his head without looking. Takes out the real gun. No. With this. And just shoots Wesker in the face with the rubber dart, just throws the toy gun at Leon.
Yeah, that was entertaining. And then that's when she's still sandwiched, and that's when they have the Jill sandwich line. To me, also like someone brought this up when it comes to Arcane, where it's like the reason like that works is because like why so many other video game adaptations fail is because they think like lines referring to the Jill sandwich are what fans care about.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. This movie has a crap ton of Easter eggs.
Oh, I have no doubt of that. But it's also like the problem when you do that with the video game adaptation is the fact that you keep reminding the audience that it's based on a video game,
exactly,
as opposed to being its own story.
Because like, and some of the times they're funny, like the part where Jill's like, while Richard Aiken is their new teammate and basically in front of him, I wonder what's a worse way to die: getting eaten by a great white or swallowed whole by a snake. And I just got a freaking huge laugh out of that one because
I caught that one too.
Like I said, I know it's just some of the smaller ones like that. Those just little one-off lines. Those were fine.
Yeah.
But like you said, it
just constantly feels like, hey, do you know this is based on a video game? And it also has a weird obsession with 90s tech.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, this does take place in 98.
I know, but there's literally a part where the police chief is just listing off brands that existed during that time. Like, do you have a date? Do you have a date, Wesker? You gotta take her to Planet Hollywood. I heard they open a new one up. You're gonna rent a movie at Blockbuster, and you're gonna put the V8 with your VHS player. And it's like, Jesus Christ,
90s.
It's like, if in case you weren't aware of what time period this exists in, and then Wesker goes up and he just finds a Palm Pilot in his locker that he opens up, and then this person's like, this device will have all the information you need. It's like, why are we getting product placement for a Palm Pilot?
Yeah.
And shit like that was weird. And there's just a lot of elements like that, just so distracting and so just disconnected from everything else. Yeah. And then it's suddenly all just kind of crashes together, where suddenly the fucking orphanage, I guess, is just a short walk away from Spencer's mansion, which took a helicopter to get there.
Yeah, it's like there's some passage underneath that like gets you that. Basically, the assumption was, it was kind of annoying, where it's just like quick path, and basically,
I feel like this movie broke a little bit. But
this mansion in the mountains is connected to the orphanage. Like, fine, I get that, but like the weird time skip is kind of like a nitpick. It's like, huh?
I know, and it's one of those things. Like, this is movies that's right for nitpicking, though, just because the rest of it is just so notoriously bland and uninteresting.
Yeah, and that's the other thing was, by trying to give these characters some character, they kind of took away what made some of these like characters so enjoyable or fun. Like, Wesker isn't a rat bastard in this. He's just a rat.
Wesker is just kind of a moron for the most part. Like, he just kind of is big, bulky jock doofus.
Oh, you want to talk about morons? Let's talk
we'll get to Leon. Let's talk Wesker first. Yeah. I know. We'll get to Leon. But like, this is the case. Like, no, granted, I understand. Like, of all the characters to change between the game and the movie, I get why Wesker gets a big chunk of it, because you couldn't have someone just come in there. Let's talk like, hello, Alpha Team. Welcome. Let's go to Spencer's mansion. I'm totally not going to betray you at any given time. So, like, sure, I can go along with that. Whatever. They didn't have to make him this dumb.
Yeah. Which also leads me to another issue I had. Birkin and his family. Like, Birkin, they had kind of an interesting angle with him, the whole idea that he was kind of like the surrogate father figure to Chris, which is weird, but, in the context of this movie, okay, fine.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. His family are completely wasted, though. We don't care about Sherry. We don't care.
Like at the end where the daughter's just fucking there. And
Yeah.
the cutting Chris like, I had 4 lines.
And Chris is like, I'm basically your surrogate daddy now. It's like, but what about the whole basically aliens Ripley Newt thing that went on with Claire and
don't worry about it. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. And I like that actor too, so I was kind of disappointed to see him kind of wasted in this.
Was it Tom Hopper or something like that?
I don't remember his name. I just know he's always tends to pop up in like B-movie projects, and he's usually enjoyable in all of them. So
gotcha. Robbie Amell was all right as Chris. Like, I felt like he was a good fit. It's just he wasn't given the best content to work with, once again.
I mean, that applies to everybody.
Yeah. Like, and once again, I know I just mentioned it, but going specifically to Leon, I feel like Joja just had like the hardest job.
Yeah.
Because like the way he acted, he would have been a perfect Leon. It's just the way they wrote his character.
They wrote him like a fucking idiot.
They made him the butt monkey.
Yeah.
He is literally the punching bag where all you have to do, he's just there for laughs at this point.
Yeah, no, they make him an absolute fucking idiot.
Yeah, and it's like, so I'm sure it was, Leon is supposed to be, he is a rookie. However, he's supposed to be competent at least. He is naive, but competent. They didn't even give him that here. It's just, find out he got transferred because he shot his partner in the ass, like in training or something like that.
Yeah, that's what that is a plot point.
Yeah. So there was that. Seriously, let us list off the ways this Leon was an absolute dumbass. So there was that. He's kind of somewhat weird in difference to Bleeding Eye Woman, where I'd be freaking the hell out. Remember, it's like, should you get that check out? Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, yeah, like that was a few cases of that. Like, guys, I'm resistant to taking a vacation, like going to the doctor too, but I have my limits.
And bleeding from your eyes is definitely one of them.
That is absolutely a case where it's like,
Or what's that part where Leon walks in a meeting where it's like, you said you didn't want to hear everybody except you. What is just like getting chewed out by it. It's like, okay, like, which was kind of funny, I'll admit. Just undeserved, but funny. But then he somehow sleeps through a gasoline truck that explodes in front of the police department. I don't care what headphones he's wearing, how loud he was playing Crush.
Can we just talk about just how weird things just explode in this movie?
Sure.
Just like that truck when it comes, that whole sequence is kind of low-key hilarious. I kind of felt bad for the dog, I will admit. Like, I was like, oh, why you gotta make that? Why you gotta be that way? But the whole movie opens up with Jill getting a hitchhike from the truck driver. It's in Resi 2. But in this case, he is literally just the exposition fairy for a good chunk of his appearance. So he's like, why are you driving again? All right, because it said it's your brother who's in a police station in Raccoon City, and you haven't seen each other for a long time. That's got to be weird, huh? This really kind of off-kilter way.
Yeah.
To the point where I was reminded of Crunk in The Emperor's New Groove.
Oh yeah. Cusco's poison.
Like Cusco's poison. Poison designed specifically to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison.
Yeah.
That poison? Yes, that poison.
Yeah, that was a little weird too.
But eventually, the dog like drinks up some infected zombie blood, and eventually gets bitten by the dog, and then he starts freaking out in front of the police station. So he does like a flip on the road, lands right in front of the police station. Leon's got his goddamn headphones on the entire time,
and he's asleep.
And by the way, at this point, like, there's no leak. And this is me being super nitpicky. I'll acknowledge that. But the car just on its side, just spontaneously just goes boom, like out of nowhere. And then this is the part where I unintentionally laughed really loud. Was the part where this now infected truck driver just casually strolls into the police station
on fire,
head to toe on fire, like not running and screaming, not like doing like a zombie walk. He's like, no, you just casually walking in, like you just walk into CVS. And he walks in there, and this entire time Leon's noticing absolutely fuck all the entire time. And then the police chief just cold cocks him right in the face, and he just goes like, well, there might be more. You might have to like get your shit together. Let's go.
Yeah. It's like, so how did the gunshot wake you up, but not the exploding gasoline truck?
They must have really good headphones.
Yeah.
I don't know. That whole sequence was hysterical. And there's a few moments like that where it's like, how are you this stupid?
Yeah, there's another part so this is where I'm okay with the naive part, where it was like the right balance of like out of his league, but like still understandable. Like that part where, like you said, it's just so you're the chief now. You do you. It's like, sir, where are you going? I'm going, get out of here. It's like, but who's in charge? Well, I guess you are. Is that even okay?
And sequels like that are kind of have their moments of like, okay, you can get some dumb fun out of this.
Yeah. And when he comes back, does that mean you're in charge again?
And there's a few cases where like you have characters who like seemingly have pretty good like common sense, and then immediately do something really stupid.
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind is the whistleblower character they have for this movie, who turns out the zombie virus.
Oh, Ben Bertolucci.
Yeah, Ben Bertolucci, whose whole thing is like he like figures out that the zombies basically created by the poison. Like they poison the watering supply, and yada yada yada. Like I don't know if that's how Rachel T virus worked. I was like, okay, whatever. I was going.
No, it might have been. I can't remember because I just remember that in Resident Evil 2, what caused it was when Hunk and his team basically went in to get the virus from Birkin, and they shot him. Basically, he injects himself with the G virus and goes hog wild, kills them all. Well, kills them all except for Hunk. And basically the rats got to it and they spread the virus. So basically modern day bubonic plague.
Gotcha, that makes sense. All right. But yeah, in this one, it's they poison the water hole. But anyway, so like the Leon finds this guy in the cell in the police station, and the part
stupidity other moment.
But the one that killed me was more like this guy who's just sitting there, who's like in a cage with somebody who's clearly infected, about to turn into a zombie. And right off the bat, Leon's like, "Is that guy okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he's totally fine. Of course he's not okay."
Yeah, and then he just kind of forgot. It's like,
and then he just kind of turns his back to him, and by the way, at this point, he has a gun because he took it off Leon.
Yeah, it's like, so why didn't you shoot the guy if you knew he was turning into a zombie?
Yeah, that was my thought. And about he's sneaking closer and closer. And it's like, dude, you just like turn around for like a second, like you'll be able to deal with this. But no, he doesn't. He gets eaten. It's like that, and that's kind of like. When a movie is already this, if a movie was better, I'd be able to ignore shit like that. But when it's already so bad that I already don't care 10 minutes in, I am going to get more nitpicky just because I need something to do.
Yeah.
While I'm trying to get through this. Even though I do, like, I just stand my theory, like, nitpicky is probably the lowest form of criticism, but at the same time, it's like, but what else is there to do?
When it all adds up.
Yeah.
There are issues. It's like chiseling away at the base of at the foundation, just have it come crumbling down.
Yeah.
And which leads me to another weird thing is the way they kind of switch Claire and Chris's personalities. Once again, I'm okay with the change. It's just the problem is it just doesn't result in a lot of fun or meaningful interactions with these characters.
Mm-hmm.
So like Claire, Claire's spending most of her time with Leon. They need to have good chemistry. They don't in this. They're just kind of like, it's like, do what I say, even though you're the cop. I know it's best. Okay, sure, whatever. Also, I'm just going to empty an entire clip into one zombie and just shout for no reason.
I mean, to be fair, it's not like they knew headshots did the trick at the time. I'm giving him a little leeway on that.
Yeah, but still, it was also just a case of just Leon just kind of being like, like going Rambo for a second, or the part where was it when he told Claire to drop the gun when she was carrying a fire extinguisher?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh my god, you cannot be this dumb.
Yeah, and then it all coalesces into just a big monster fight at the end, which I'm usually down for, but
it just happened. It's just like, brah, and Leon comes with the rocket launcher and blows it up.
It's more like, yeah, we know the giant monster Resi 2 is kind of obligated to be in here since we didn't put Mr. X in here for some reason.
Yeah, but it's just like, it happened so quickly. It's like, that wasn't even a climax. It was just like, you just threw something at the wall and it just...
And then they walk out of the train and the movie just ends. Like, that's it.
Yeah, doing the action pose.
And that's it. Walk. And then the movie has the nerve to sequel bait. And I'm like, oh, that's optimistic.
I will say, I did get a laugh out of that reference to the first game remake. the way that so spoiler alert, Wesker doesn't meet the best, most dignified end
Oh
in the
yeah.
movie. he gets shot by Sherry. No, he got shot by
Leon
Jill, I
shoot him?
think. No, it was either Claire or I think it was Jill. No, Jill shot him.
Okay.
Sorry, I forgot. Barry or Sherry had the gun, but Jill shot him in the back or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
And he's just like, I'm sorry. It's like, I wasn't gonna shoot her. Take this and get out. You gotta escape. It's like, oh man, did you just get just what happened to the megalomaniacal maniac?
I mean, again, I'm just gonna say like Wesker in the games even is not the most interesting character.
I know. I'm just saying he needs to be a rat bastard, not a rat. I
feel like that's more of an issue of semantics at that point.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like a rat is just kind of like, they just kind of do some shady things. Rat bastard means you hate them. They're detestable.
Okay.
That's my definition.
Fair enough.
It's kind of like how sometimes I joke, ass versus asshole.
All right. Fair enough. I can see the distinction.
Yeah. But, so the group just kind of meets up. It's like, oh, hey, let's go on this train and get going.
I guess we're friends now. All right, cool.
Yeah. Oh, hey, monster. I'm going to blow, we'll shoot it a couple times, get knocked over, and then Leon blows up with a rocket launcher.
Cool. We're going to wrap this shit up because we're at the end of our budget here. And that monster costs a lot of money.
You wouldn't guess it by the way it looked.
Despite
terrible?
actually looking like a PS1 graphic.
I wouldn't quite go that far, but like
it's pretty bad.
Definitely, it was.
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, this movie sucks.
Yeah.
It's surprising no one. Just one look at the trailer.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, go ahead.
One of the things I will give it credit for was the way they kind of show the city kind of descending, into this virus, like the way we see the people kind of deteriorate, things like that. Like we see the stages of how overcomes them. It's like, you know what? That was actually, I liked seeing that side of things because we always just kind of go into it like everything's already happened.
Yeah.
And there were some other interesting moments. I will say the thing with Chris in the mansion when he's like in the dark, like having to fight with just like his lighter to see where everything is.
Even though I thought that was kind of a funny, stupid decision when the zombie's clearly attracted to the fire and he keeps turning it on.
Well, I think he knew the zombies would hear him regardless, but there were some weird moments in it. Like it was kind of a cool idea. Just could have done a little bit better. Or that was the other weird thing. Lisa Trevor.
Oh yeah.
Who just has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. It's just like,
oh, it's a plot device.
Barely even. It's like, it's like most they did was open a room, which they could have done on their own. But it's just like, so this is the other thing. It's like Lisa Trevor is supposed to be like a really tragic villain in the Resident Evil series. This whole idea of they kept the experimentation part, but we don't know. Like, there's a lot of stuff involving like her mother dying, and I think like her father was like one of the ones doing the experiments on her or something like that. So unfortunately they kind of took away some of the interesting parts about that which was kind of disappointing.
I don't know a lot about I don't know a lot about Lisa Trevor, so I'll acknowledge.
She's only in the Resident Evil remake.
Okay.
Like the design was cool, but it's just there was no point in having the character in there. She didn't add anything. It's like, and the whole thing with her in the orphanage, like being this, friend to Claire, like someone that Claire reached out to, just it didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it was kind of, and I will divorce the fact that it's like, okay, boss character from the game is suddenly their ally, and I constantly joke, did the people who watch Resident Evil Apocalypse learn nothing?
No.
But
yes, they did learn nothing.
But even despite that, it's like she basically just felt like one giant Easter egg / fan service is the best way to describe it.
Yeah, that would not surprise me if that's all it was intended to be too.
And I'll say this. This movie is technically better than most of the Anderson movies.
That's definitely a subjective opinion.
I might argue the first one was better. But I'll still say this one was better than probably a lot of the others, because at least,
like, I'm not gonna give it like the Paul W.S. Anderson movies a lot of credit, but at least they had their own identity,
which is true.
For better or worse,
this is not the thing to have its own identity with. But
I mean, sure, but at the same time, like, I can at least like set that on its own as like, okay, it's clearly not the games, but
yeah. And this is something that I will say, like, it kind of made me more mad that this like felt like Resident Evil, but like there were so many small missteps that just added to one giant misfire that it kind of ticked me off even more.
Yeah, I get
because
that.
Like you could see the potential there, like at least visually and in some thought processes, they were kind of on the right track, but it just ended up like being underdeveloped and just rushed way too quickly, especially by the once the third act happened. And I really do think that, like, had they just separated them, like made them their own movies, they could have succeeded a lot better, because then they could have just dedicated, the time needed to developing the characters and, just focusing on building things up more so. But it's just,
nope.
Yeah, they didn't really succeed there.
They did not. Oh God. I'm tired.
Yeah.
This movie did not help at all.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
No, I think we talked about all the characters. We talked about the plots, weird moments, the kind of questionable CGI. I will say this. I really did like the set designs.
Sure.
Set designs are pretty solid, and it helped that like Capcom actually gave the director the blueprints for these locations to like help make it so they could actually get a lot closer to things.
Probably good to do them, but yeah.
Yeah. I kind of wish they lended into another character, Brad Vickers. It's like, he's supposed to be Chicken Heart Vickers. He's supposed to be a coward that abandons everyone. It's like,
I don't know. I don't remember who that is. I'll be honest.
He's the guy in the game. He was the guy with the yellow vest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, okay.
But okay, so ignoring that though, it's just once again, more disposable characters. It was kind of weird, interesting to see how they can like remix certain scenes. Like that whole helicopter crash was clearly from Resident Evil 2, which happened at the police station. So it was kind of weird, like checking these things out and seeing how they like put things elsewhere to kind of subvert expectations, but at the same time, like once again, just
it's just smashing shit together.
Exactly. It didn't feel like it was all justified.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's all we really have on this.
Yeah.
I still have a lot of catching up to do. I don't even know anymore. So we're just gonna get to whatever I can when I can.
Yeah, I gotta watch more movies too this week if I can find the time.
I mean, we're also gonna like Ghostbusters. Me and Matt are gonna check out the new Disney movie I keep forgetting the name of. Encanto, thank you. I know the non-exploitation movie's out, so I'm kind of like, Wuhan, I'll probably watch that.
The what?
Oh yeah, you didn't know about the non-sex exploitation movie going on right now?
No.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm gonna. I think it has a very cheeky name. I'm trying to see if I can find it because I know it's in theaters right now.
Right.
Benedetta. That's what.
Oh, I have heard of that one. Yeah, but I don't know anything about it.
So anyway, there's a lot to
try. I'm just gonna try and watch Ghostbusters. I need something good and happy in my life.
Can't go wrong there.
Right.
Hang in there, buddy. It'll be okay. All right. Meantime, thank you guys for watching. See y'all later.
Later.